Hello and welcome to our third ever Steel City Short video previewing March Madness. During this episode, we will be previewing the whole entire bracket, going through our picks in depth. My name is Ryan Berry.
I'm Alex Brown.
And together we are your hosts for this podcast. Alex, you want us to get started? No, we can both share our screen here so we can get started on our picks.
Sounds good. If you look at this, my screen's the screen you need to be looking at for these, ladies and gentlemen, because I have a proven track record on the show of being a great picker of games in the NFL.
You won NFL narrowly.
The NFL, no, it was pretty convincingly. I won pretty.
The last couple weeks.
If you look at the top of our screens, Ryan, tell me who you got. First game, Gonzaga, right?
Obviously, Gonzaga. I mean, 16 seeds, I don't think they're ever going to win again. Gonzaga averages 92 points per game, and they only let up 69 points per game. And they're 4-0 against top 5 teams, wins against Kansas, Iowa, Virginia, and West Virginia. They're led by seniors Corey Kispert and Drew Timme. I mean, they're a very, very thorough team. They haven't lost a game, and I believe the reason why is because they're that good.
The 8-9 seed matchup, and both sides of this, you got Oklahoma and Missouri on your left, and then you got North Carolina and Wisconsin on your right. I'm picking the 9 seed in both.
I am actually picking the 9 seed in both also. I had Oklahoma up to this point, but when I was reviewing my bracket before this, I looked up Oklahoma and found out that 2 hours ago, their second leading scorer just tested positive for COVID and will not play in this tournament. And that is Devian Horava, and he averages 12 points per game. So that is a big blow for Oklahoma, who had high hopes for this tournament. And honestly, I was picking Oklahoma all the way up into this until I found out about that.
And then the classic 5-12 seed upset, Ryan. I take the 12 over the 5 almost every time. And then I'm going to take that in both sides. I'm going to take Santa Barbara in the left over Creighton, and I'm going to take Winthrop.
I am taking one of those. I am taking Winthrop over Villanova because Villanova was out their star point guard. But I'm not taking Santa Barbara over Creighton because Creighton has so much firepower, and I think they're going to be able to bounce back after that loss to Georgetown.
They got crushed by Georgetown, though. They
got crushed by Georgetown, but their coach is going to get them ready. That little stuff went on before that game, and I believe they weren't really focused for that game. But I think they'll be ready for Santa Barbara, and I think their coaches got them ready.
Who do you got, Virginia, Ohio?
Virginia, Ohio. I have Virginia. I know a lot of people are going with Ohio here.
I'm taking Ohio.
And I understand why you're taking that, Alex. Ohio's led by a very, very good point guard in Jason Preston. He's averaging 16 points per game. But I think Virginia and Jay Huff can really, really get this team on a roll, but I don't think they'll make it past the second round.
I actually have Ohio going to the Sweet 16.
I don't blame you. I mean, they can definitely turn it on. Purdue and North Texas. Alex, who do you got?
Purdue. I would take Purdue.
Purdue as well. Okay. Alex is not taking an upset. Wow, that's big.
I'm not going to go that far. But next up, I'm going to take the winner of Wichita State and Drake. Whoever wins that game, both have been pretty good this year. I'm going to take them to beat USC.
I have USC. I think USC is a good team. I believe they'll be able to get that win. I mean, Wichita, I believe, will beat Drake, but that'll be a good game because Drake's been a good team this year. They've been in and out of the top 25. But USC, they beat Oregon by 14. They're 1-1 versus top 25. And they're led by star freshman Evan Mobley. So they're a good team, and they can definitely have potential to make a run. But I believe that run will end in the second round. Alex, Texas Tech and Utah State. Are you going to pick another upset?
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. This game was kind of on the wire, and the winner of this game I was going to have make it to the Sweet 16 because Utah State and Texas Tech are both good teams, but I think Texas Tech, they have had a really hard schedule this year. I believe they're able to get that win against Utah State. Kansas, 2-3 seed matchups. I think one of these will be close. One of them will be a blowout. I think
3 seed in both.
I think Kansas will blow out Eastern Washington. I think Arkansas and Colgate will be close because they're both offensive firepowers. And whenever that collides, that's a fun game to watch. But I think Arkansas will get that win.
You're not going to say it's not close enough, but it's going to be close, right?
Yep.
And then I'm going to take VCU over Oregon, and I'm going to take Virginia Tech over Florida. Give me both 10 seeds.
I do not have VCU. I have Oregon in that one. And for one reason, I think Oregon has a harder schedule. They're in a better division,
Oh,
and
I don't know about that though.
they can get the
I
three
don't think
ball
they have
done.
that hard schedule.
They're led by
Not at all.
Omarui with 16 points per game. They've won 11 of their last 12 before stumbling in that championship. But VCU, they're not a bad team, but one of their leading scorers, Highland, has been nursing an injury over the last couple weeks, and I believe that could have slowed them down just enough to let Oregon take that win. And I have Virginia Tech because I really like Keve Aluma, and although they lost to Pitt, they've shown a lot this year. They have gone through some pauses and didn't finish well, but I got to take that 10-7 upset there because it's going to be a good game. Alex, you
And,
got Virginia Tech as well, right?
yeah, any team that loses to Pitt, I have to really question picking them to win a single game or win a single quarter, let alone win a game. But I'm picking Virginia Tech. I'm going to briefly explain VCU. VCU has the 27th hardest schedule in the college basketball this past season. Oregon had 90th. So that's just a number, but they're battle tested. They're a decent team. Iowa and Ohio State, I'm taking both 2 seeds. I don't think those will be close.
Yeah, those won't be close games at all. They're both very good teams who are potential to knock off a 1 seed and make a run to the championship, which I think is definitely possible. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Anything you got going on in the Sweet 16 or round of 32 Elite Eight that you want to tell us about?
Well, I don't really have many upsets. Oh, well, I'll start top left. I have Gonzaga beating Missouri. I think that'll be a close game. I do have Creighton topping Virginia. You have neither of those teams there. You have Santa Barbara and Ohio.
Yeah.
So, but I have Creighton and Virginia opposite of you. I think Creighton will get the win against Virginia because I don't think Virginia has enough offensive power to be able to get that. They're efficient on offense, but they don't score as much as I think they need to be Creighton. And then down here, this was a close game, USC and Kansas, but I think Kansas has improved in the last couple weeks. I have them as well. Oregon and Iowa. I think Iowa will actually handle that game pretty easily because Luka Garza has just been a monster this year. And then heading into this game, actually, Alex, you do your Sweet 16 in the West Division.
Round of 32, you mean like who's going to be in the Sweet 16?
Yeah, who's going to be in the Sweet 16?
Gonzaga versus Ohio, and then Kansas versus Iowa.
And in my Elite Eight, I have my Sweet 16 games. I have Gonzaga beating Creighton and Kansas upsetting Iowa. I think that'll be a really fun game to watch if that's what it gets to.
And we have the same 2 teams there in the Elite Eight, and I'm going to pick Gonzaga to win that game.
I have Gonzaga as well. So all those differences we had at the beginning didn't affect the end result.
Nope.
We both have got Gonzaga and Kansas in the Elite Eight. We both have Gonzaga going to the Final Four, which was pretty easy for a lot of people.
I think it's pretty close to a given almost. Kansas is going to give them a run though. I think they'll give them a good run. And then you look in the South, Ryan. I'll start with the round of 32. I have Baylor beating Wisconsin, Purdue beating Winthrop, Arkansas beating Texas Tech, and then Ohio State beating Virginia Tech.
I have Baylor beating Wisconsin. I have Purdue beating Winthrop. Texas Tech is one of my only upsets in the round of 32 out of the top 2. I have them upsetting Arkansas to go on a little run here. And then I have Ohio State topping Virginia Tech because Ohio State has been playing good basketball. They only lost by 3 points to Illinois in the Big Ten championship.
I'm actually going to put Baylor and Ohio State in the Elite Eight. I don't feel comfortable about that because it's a 1 and 2 seed, but I'm gonna keep it. But Arkansas is gonna give Ohio State a run.
So I think Texas Tech will give Ohio State a run. You have Arkansas beating Texas Tech in the second round, but I think Ohio State will win that game, and I think Baylor will beat Purdue. Purdue's a good team, but Baylor has just been so dominant. They've only lost, I think, 2 games this year, so that'll be a close game as well.
That's not a great Red Raiders team that you have, the Texas Tech.
They've had a really hard schedule this year, and I believe that they'll be able to get a couple wins in this tournament.
Can they score? Can they counter the scoring of Arkansas?
they're good on the defensive end and they can make their free throws and 3-pointers. That will be the key. And they got to win the rebounding battle because Arkansas scores a good amount as well. But it's fun to pick upsets in the second round, not just the first round. So that's why I did
See
that.
what happens. And I'm going to pick an upset in the Elite Eight. I'm going to take Ohio State over Baylor.
Wow. Me and Alex are exactly the same in the Elite Eight and the Final Four for the top two.
That's scary.
But there's a lot of differences in that. So that'll be the difference in which bracket wins. Let's move on to the bottom of the bracket, the East and the Midwest divisions. We'll start off with you in the East, Alex. You can go through your first. Actually, we'll go game by game. Let's start off with Michigan.
I'm going to go across East to Midwest. I'm in the 1 to 16 games. I think we're both taking the 1 seeds in those, pretty obvious. And then the second game, the 8 and 9 seed matchups, I'm taking the 8 seed LSU in the East, and I'm taking the 9 seed Georgia Tech in the Midwest.
Identical as you, Alex. I think LSU is it's kind of an unfair matchup for St. Bonaventure because LSU scores a lot. They average 82 points per game. And then Georgia Tech and Loyola, as much as I want to have Loyola go on another run for Sister Jean, Georgia Tech just won the ACC championship. And they're really good. Jose Alvarado and ACC Player of the Year Moses Wright. I think they take the game against Loyola Chicago in a nail biter. Colorado and Georgetown. I know who you got. I have Colorado. I think Georgetown's hot streak ends there. And on the other side, I have Tennessee beating Oregon State as well.
Well, I have the complete opposite of you. Give me the 12 seeds. Let me look in the top.
Have you taken every 12 seed?
I think I have every 12 seed beating a 5 seed. Every 12 seed.
I mean, you'll get one of those.
I like Oregon State. Oregon State won. I think they did win the Pac-12, and they're a good team. Similar to Georgetown. Georgetown just won the Big East. 2 teams who didn't have a great season came, and then they had a good conference tournament, found themselves with the 12 seed, and they're going to beat the respective 5 seeds.
I think you'll get one of those right, and I think one of those 12 right, and I think that'll
one of the 4 picks.
One of the 4, and it'll be the Winthrop, and the rest will be the 5 seeds winning. So I'll take those points against you. Next 2 games, Oklahoma State and Liberty. This is kind of my upset of the right side of the bracket here. I have Liberty upsetting Oklahoma State. Liberty's won a lot of their games recently. They've been on fire, and I believe they'll keep that going against Oklahoma State. A very good Oklahoma State team that can turn it on at any moment. But I think Liberty, the last time they were in the NCAA tournament, they beat a 5 seed as well. OSU's led by Cade Cunningham, and Liberty has won 12 straight games, so they're hot going into this tournament. And on the other side, I have Florida State. I think you do too as well, Alex.
Well, I have Florida State, but I completely differ with you on Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, they're a 4 seed, and they're a good team. They have Cade Cunningham on their team. They have some great players. And let's talk about Liberty. Liberty, they have the 327th hardest schedule in basketball. 327. How many teams are there in college basketball? You're getting down to the bottom of the list with 327. And then you got Oklahoma State at the 3rd hardest schedule. And they were 13-6 against NCAA tournament teams. They're battle tested and they're ready to go. They lost in the championship game of the Big 12. They're going to win that game. And as you can see on my bracket, I have them going all the way to the Final Four.
You have that filled out already. Well, I'm just filling out game as we go. But on my next game, I have San Diego State and Syracuse. I have Syracuse winning that one, and for one reason, and his name is a name that I don't really like over ACC play, especially against Pitt. Buddy Boeheim, they mentioned his name way too much, but he's a good player. If he could turn it on from 3, watch out for Syracuse in this tournament. And then the other side, BYU and MSU/UCLA. So I'm taking BYU unless Michigan State can beat UCLA. I like Michigan State, so if they win, I'll have to reconsider that pick because as of now, that game's not till tomorrow night. So right now I'm going to put it as BYU, but that could change depending on what happens in the next couple of days.
I'll take both 6 seeds. And then
no upsets. I think everything you've done this time. Okay.
Yeah, taking both favorites.
Okay. Texas. You go, Alex.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Texas and I'm going to take both Texas and West Virginia, both 3 seeds. 14 seed is never a good team. It's never an attractive matchup, and I'm not.
I think the closer game. I think the close game will be Morehead State because they play good defense, but they don't score, and I think that'll hurt them in the end against a West Virginia team that doesn't play good defense also. But West Virginia can score. And then I have Texas as well. I think Texas is a dominating team with Shaka Smart. I think this is Shaka Smart's one of the best teams he's out there. And I think Texas won their first Big 12 championship in 25 years.
It's been a while, and they have a great team, great offense too. UConn, Maryland, and then Clemson and Rutgers. I'm taking the 10 seeded Terrapins, and I'm taking the 7 seed Tigers.
Same thing as you, Alex. I have Maryland. UConn, I don't like how they've been playing of late. I think it'll be a close game. That's just two teams that aren't really that good. Neither Clemson or Rutgers are that good either. Those games, they won't be my tune-in games. But Rutgers is favored over Clemson in this game because they've both been really bad. They've been really bad of late. I don't think those games are very. They're not that good at teams. Maryland and Rutgers will be low scoring. UConn and Maryland will be low scoring. If Maryland can hit the three, they win. But if they don't, UConn wins. It'll be a close game for both of them. And then bottom, I believe we both have Alabama and
Yeah.
Houston.
I'm going to go through my round of 32. Who's going to win those games? I'm going to take Michigan in the East, along with Florida State over Georgetown, Texas over BYU, Alabama over Maryland. And then in the Midwest, I'm going to take Illinois over Georgia Tech, Oklahoma State over Oregon State, West Virginia over San Diego State, which is going to be a tight game, and then Houston over Clemson.
So I am taking every team that's favored in these games. I got Michigan, Florida State, Texas, Alabama, Illinois, Tennessee. Tennessee over Liberty. You had Oklahoma State winning that, so that would have been an upset if Oklahoma State does win. And I got Western over Syracuse, and I think that'll be a close game. Buddy Bayham can
I did
keep
the
it
same
hot.
thing as you did. I think I took every favorite. That's
And
not
then,
like me, but I did it.
and then Houston not upsetting Clemson, beating Clemson to face West Virginia. And this is where it kind of gets a little tricky for me because I picked three upsets in these games. I have Florida State knocking off number one Michigan. I think Leonard Hamilton will have them ready for this tournament, and they'll make a run to Elite Eight. And I got Texas beating the fast-paced offense of Alabama, and that'll be a good game. I hope it gets to that game, Alex, because that'll be a fun game to watch. And then in the other division, I have Illinois beating Tennessee, and I think that'll be a fairly easy game for them. Then I got West Virginia over Houston, and that will be another good. I like 3 seed versus 2 seed games, Alex. Those teams are pretty close to each other. So, I mean, I hope you. I don't know if you agree with me, Alex, but I think those games will always be good if it's 3v2 seed.
I absolutely think so. And I agree with you in the 3v2 seed games, but I don't agree with you 1 versus 4. You actually have Tennessee instead of Oklahoma State there. I don't think Tennessee is going to win a game. You have them winning 2. I think Oklahoma State beats Illinois in the Sweet 16. As I said, Cade Cunningham, great player. They're ready to go. They've had a great season against a lot of tough opponents. They played more tournament games against tournament teams than Illinois has this year. Oklahoma State beats Illinois. Michigan.
Wow. Okay.
Florida State. Yeah.
I agree. Kind of agree that could happen, but it all depends on how Cade Cunningham plays. The reason I picked them.
I don't agree. You don't even mind winning a game.
But Cade Cunningham is a good player, but I don't think he'll play good against Liberty because I like Liberty the last time they had a 12-5 upset. So I want to see where it goes. And I like
13-4.
Only 13-5, 13-14. And I want to see how Liberty plays against that. And so my final four, you just said yours, so I'll say mine. I have Texas beating Florida State in that game. And then I have Illinois beating West Virginia. Pretty simple there. Although I think Texas is a good team, they can make a Final Four run. Hopefully that's the case. And Alex, let's move on to the Final Four. You could start with the left side of the bracket.
I'm going to take Gonzaga over Texas.
Same here as well. And Illinois of Ohio. And by the way, I think that game might be a pretty good game for Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga can handle Texas defense and offense. Texas shoots a lot of free throws, so if they're able to do that, they could give out Gonzaga a run. But I think Gonzaga will pretty easy.
Gonzaga would have to foul for that to be the case. They're a pretty disciplined club.
And yeah, they are a disciplined club, and that's the reason they're 26-0. And other side, Alex, you have Ohio State and Illinois as well.
Ohio State and Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Forgot about that.
Oklahoma State, because I had Oklahoma State beating Illinois and then beating West Virginia.
Who do you have? Wait, don't tell me you have them again. You have them beating Ohio State?
No, I don't.
Oh, Alex, come on, man. You should have them win their championship.
You
And
challenging me to do that now? You challenging me to do that? I might do it on live.
okay.
Do it?
Yeah, they'll lose in the first round.
No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep them there. I don't feel
How about
comfortable
the
with that. I like
championship?
Ohio
We
State.
have them to the championship?
No, I think they're gonna go to the Final Four. I don't think they're gonna make it to the championship.
Okay,
Ohio State's better.
I have Illinois over Ohio State. So 2-1 series in the
When this
championship.
happens, though, when this happens, and as soon as they beat Liberty, I want you to go.
No,
and
Alex,
remember-
Alex. I'm not saying that Liberty is automatically going to win. They're going to have to play really well. But you saying they're going to go to the Final Four?
Confident.
I think it should be a good game. We'll see what Liberty brings.
And then
I
I'm
like-
gonna say
I like
Gonzaga
picking
to win it all.
You've actually picked more upsets than me, and
did.
but the upsets I picked, I feel like I don't know. It'll be hard. Okay, let's go. National championship game. I have Gonzaga, Illinois, 2-1 seeds, and who do you have?
I have Gonzaga beating Ohio State 81-74.
And I have Illinois over Gonzaga, 86-79. And that is it. And I will submit that bracket.
86-79. That's another 7-point game. Mine's 7.2.
I didn't even hear yours. Well, that is it for our
So-
brackets. Alex, you can stop sharing now.
Okay. Yes, boss.
You want to
This
do
is
the
good,
closing?
Ryan.
Me too, Alex.
Yeah, this is good, and hopefully you enjoyed watching. Took some advice. Got a couple different perspectives. We agreed on a couple things. We didn't agree on a couple things.
It's going to be fun to see how this all pans out, Alex.
Yeah, it's great to have it back. It's been 2 years. It's been a long time coming, but March Madness is back, and this is our breakdown of it.